Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, July 27, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Government says it has strategic plans in place which will put the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the BOSVG, in a better position in the coming years. The plans were outlined today in Parliament by Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Rav Gonsalves, as he spoke at length on the government's move to repurchase 31% of the shares from the East Caribbean Financial Holdings Limited, ECFH, earlier this month, leaving the government of SVG with the majority of the shares in the bank with 51% and ECFH with 20%. In outlining the aim of the government's critical financial decision of holding majority shares, PM Gonsalves said it is all in the name of building a solid foundation for the nation's biggest financial institution.
In the next 2-3 years maximum, to strengthen further the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and put most or all of that 31% of the shareholding on the market, and hopefully that we will see one or other financial institution in the region which we will feel we can have a fit, a natural fit, to work with us. Now, one of the important reasons to keep nexus or a merger with other institutions is that the foreign banks with whom you have corresponding banking relationships, they like the idea to see you have these cross-border links. So they like the cross-border links what we have with Eastern Caribbean Financial Holdings.
The Minister of Finance further highlighted some of the financial challenges which the ECFH was experiencing, noting that the amount of bad loans was steadily increasing.
The audited financial statements of the Bank of St. Lucia at the end of December 2016 reported a pre-tax loss of $105.3 million. The preliminary audit process in January 19, 2017, in an effort to reposition this bank, the board took the decision to write off non-performing loans total $102.5 million, which required an additional provisioning of $44.9 million. In fact, the total provisioning for 2016 was $128.8 million. So colleagues who don't quite understand what this provisioning is, and for the members of the public who are listening, this is the extent to which the loans are bad. And you have to make provision for these bad loans. It isn't that you would try and collect them, but they have become so chronically bad that so as not to have your balance sheet having the mirage that you're doing okay, you have to make the provision for the bad loans.
The Prime Minister further denounced criticisms of the amount paid for the repurchasing of the 31% shares, explaining that the evaluation of the bank's shares was much lower in 2010 than it is now, which resulted in a high payment. Opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday, however, expressed concern with the government's plans to bring about reform within the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Dr. Friday noted that while PM Gonsalves has set a time frame of 2 to 3 years towards working on building a solid financial ground for the bank, he is concerned that it is insufficient time, and further took the opportunity to appeal to the government to be transparent in its approach.
It is, Mr. Speaker, we have to be clear to the people of the country. We have to tell them that we had hoped that in having a merger back in 2010, that the strategy of amalgamating standalone national commercial banks would go forward from then on, and these institutions would become much more viable going forward. That is still a desirable and preferred strategy. As the Prime Minister said, he said in 2 to 3 years he hopes to sell the interest that has been acquired. But that is assuming that you can find suitable buyers and a suitable match to make this work. I would think that that would require the participation of a large, viable financial institution, not just selling to the individual.
Noting that the government has its work cut out, the opposition leader advised the ULP administration to tread carefully in making national financial decisions.
You will need a strategic partner to enhance the viability of our national commercial bank going forward. It's not an easy thing because obviously they tried it recently before the repurchase of the shares was done. You know, we are repurchasing the shares at higher value than they were sold, basically using borrowed money. So, and there is a movement on to seek to resell those shares at some point in the near future, because 3 years is not a long time. That is why the loan is still, or the bond is still being repaid.
Dr. Friday noted that the NDP will continue to do its part in the best interest of the nation's citizens.
Mr. Speaker, I understand the sensitivity of matters relating to financial institutions. And we on this side have always said we're not going to gain short-term political advantage by destroying people's lives and livelihoods and investments and savings. We will do what is responsible. And this is where we have been cautious, Mr. Speaker. Even when there have been questions about the transaction that require answer, we have been cautious in our public remarks, and will remain so.
There is no strategic priority laid out in the 2017 estimates noted by the Director of Audit, which signals an issue as it regards available resources. That's according to Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves while speaking on Boom FM earlier this week, as he shed light on claims coming out of a meeting held between the Director of Audit and the Leader of the Opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday. Pointing out that he was not fully certain of what transpired at the said meeting, PM Gonsalves used the opportunity to provide information on what has been taking place at the Audit Department and the allotted resources.
Improvements to be made in relation to the physical facilities. Those at different stages, we have made improvements, and the improvements, I've been advised, are satisfactory. We now have 37 members of staff, 33 of whom are persons who would be involved in the auditing process, headed by the Director of Audit. And the last report is 2010. They said they'll develop a 5-year strategic plan by the first quarter of 2017. Well, it's past the first quarter, but that's never mind. I expect that we'll get the strategic plan. And that's a very good thing that the current Director of Audit is doing, because she's looking forward to see what we should do over the next 5 years. And then to develop competencies of the staff by training in particular auditing standards by the fourth quarter. And I know that they have been doing training. In fact, she must have told Friday that they were doing training.
The Prime Minister went on to express his views on the claims of the opposition leader as it relates to his conversation with the Director of Audit.
The Director of Audit will not speak to the press as an independent office. She would not be drawn into political controversy. So Friday was quite out of order to speak in the manner in which he spoke unless he had an agreed statement with the Director of Audit. That's why I said the place for that should have been the Public Accounts Committee. I could understand the Director of Audit, wanting, if the leader of the opposition asked to see her, she says, well, there's nothing wrong about that. But she's a good woman, but innocent in the ways of politics. She didn't know that Friday was going to ambush her. Huh? And now you want me to ambush her? Never.
And Prime Minister Gonsalves refuted claims that his defamation case against Nice Radio is a way of seeking vengeance against the station and its proprietor, Douglas "Dougie" de Freitas, noting that he is mainly interested in getting justice. Pointing out that he has no ill will against de Freitas, PM Gonsalves added that he has no interest in ending the operations of the station.
No interest in that at all. In fact, they have been terrible against me personally since 1998, and of course against the ULP. Very defamatory and divisive and slanderous. And the truth of the matter is this: I have won elections repeatedly. They have been defamatory and slanderous and lying and so on about so many things, half-truths, etc. And then you have this situation developing. I have to make sure that the extent to which I'm defamed, and particularly on matters which touch and concern the governance of the country,
right?
I reserve the right to sue Nice Radio.
The Prime Minister further commented on the issue of forgiveness towards the station, as well as the reported action taken to ensure that no instance of defamation takes place again at the expense of the radio station.
That was their feeling, and I accommodated them, and we spoke.
Did they ask you to forgive Dougie?
I spoke with the Christian Council. The Christian Council can speak if they want about what was spoken about. Bird would say to the older bird, but every time he comes out and take a bird, his eyes to kill it, his eyes look so sad, like he doesn't want to do it. And the older, wiser bird said, don't look at his eyes, look at his hands. Look not at his eyes, look at his hands. So look not at certain things which are thus declared. Let me see what happens.
The Diaspora Unit has been engaged in activities designed to adequately document the skills and competencies of persons in the diaspora, which will go a long way in assisting those who wish to aid in the development of SVG. At the closing ceremony of the Diaspora Mapping Project at the Methodist Church Hall earlier today, Deputy Director of the Regional Integration and Diaspora Unit RIDU, Maxwell Childs, said that the unit took a targeted approach in relation to data collection in an effort to adequately collect data in relation to a person's skills and qualifications to match them with an area of need in SVG.
If we have them well documented, we will be able to pinpoint exactly where the help and the competencies and the skills are needed in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Let me at this moment applaud the efforts or congratulate those Vincentians overseas, in North America and in the UK, who contributed in a marked way in doing the online survey. So this exercise in a nutshell is saying that we collect data from the diaspora to know exactly the skills out there. And in phase 2, we find out our needs here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And finally, we would match the skills that we have in the diaspora with the local needs we have here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Also giving remarks at the closing ceremony was Aisha Brown, a representative of RIDU, who stated that the unit is charged with the responsibility of creating a link between members of the diaspora as well as fostering a closer connection with Vincentians here at home. Brown thanked the International Organization for Migration, the IOM, for its support in the venture and called on stakeholders present to consider the closing ceremony as a new beginning in their relationship with members of the diaspora.
Included here today on the direction of Mr. Maxwell Charles. The aim of this project is to obtain the skills and competencies of Vincentians living in the diaspora and map them to the needs existing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Without the financial assistance from the IOM Development Fund, this project will not be realized. For that, we say thanks. This ceremony today marks the end of our funding from IOM. However, for some of us, it should be the beginning of greater things to come, once we understand the potential that exists within our Vincentian diaspora. Therefore, I urge everyone present here today to view your organization as a partner in this project as we continue to examine ways in which we can benefit from our diaspora through their skills and competencies. Once again, on behalf of the Deputy Director and staff of RIDU, we welcome you.
Senior Regional Specialist on Labor and Human Development at the IOM, Anna Platonova, said the diaspora is a potential source of not only capital, but also possess rich diversity of skills and new ideas which could be of tremendous benefit to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Just learn new ideas, the knowledge that is circulating around the world and in the countries where they live at the moment. And it's also their social capital. It's not just what people have themselves, what kind of expertise or funds they own, but it's also whom they know. And in the field of diaspora engagement, this is a very important area to consider, especially for small countries such as those in the Caribbean, because diaspora is also, in a way, a potential key to the world. They know people who are not necessarily fellow Vincentians, but who can be extremely important to open up the country further to new business opportunities, to new academic contacts, and so on.
The Zero Hunger Trust Fund, the SVG-TV, today, July 27th, commenced distribution of financial assistance to students who are beneficiaries under its Adopt a Classroom program. This program has been designed by the SVG-TV to assist children from communities with the highest levels of poverty in St. Vincent and the Grenadines with meals and other basic necessities to ensure that they attend school regularly. Today, there are 295 students receiving support under this program. The components of the program are the provision of meals each day, the provision of all textbooks recommended by the Ministry of Education, and $350 to each child to assist with the purchase of school uniforms and other school supplies. In addition, the students will undergo regular medical checks and will further be assessed by reading specialists. The program commenced in 2016 with 195 kindergarten children from 7 primary schools, which include Chateaubelair Primary, Barley Anglican, Barley Government, Fairhall Primary, Sandy Bay Government, Fancy Government, and Myro Primary Schools. For the 2017-2018 academic year, 5 kindergarten classes have been added to the program. The children are drawn from Rose Hall Primary, Clare Valley Government, Caliaco Anglican, Lourdes Primary, and Gome Government Schools. The value of the support to each child is approximately $1,500. Vincentians who are facing various challenges are being encouraged to attend a performance at the Peace Memorial Hall, which is being termed the Prescription of Laughter. The encouragement comes from Jacinta Edwards, CEO of Regis Theatre Alliance, as she spoke with SVG-TV on the group's play Pack of Jokers, Talk the Things Them Part 2, which was showcased at the Peace Memorial Hall this weekend. Edwards said many persons are faced with a number of problems, adding that the play seeks to address them using comedy.
Okay, as I said before, it's Saturday night, 7 p.m., SVG Memorial Hall. Some folks might not understand that, so it's Peace Memorial Hall. It's $30 a ticket, Sunday night, same place, Peace Memorial Hall, 7 p.m. sharp, $30 a ticket. If you're looking for outlets for the ticket, you can check us at Peace Memorial Hall where you can purchase your tickets. Don't be late. We are expecting a large turnout this weekend because, like I said, we gave you part 1 last year, and this year we are telling you to take 2. It's a prescription that we're going to fill. So you need to come as we prescribe the drug, which is laughter, the best medicine. Regis Theatre Alliance, Packer Jokers, talk the things, take 2.
Edwards highlighted some of the social issues which the play will touch on.
You might have cases in your home where, as young people, you might be questioning yourself whether or not you should get married. Come at Peace Mo, you will decide whether or not that is what you want to do or what you should do. Also, if you're having difficulties finding a job, Packer Jokers got that covered. You just come prepared. We will serve you. On this Sunday night, we are going to be doing it like no one else can in St. Vincent. Not saying that Saturday night wouldn't be great, but expect a surprise on Sunday.
The Regis Theatre Alliance CEO said the play has a huge following and took the time to highlight some of the actors who will be performing.
We have a packed program or performers this year. Just to give you an idea who you're going to be seeing on stage, you have Mr. Sean Frederick, you have Mr. Jasper Alexander, you have Dexton Scott, you have Lafayette Johnson, you have myself, Jacinta Edwards, you have Roosevelt John, you have Shanika Simmons. We are going to just bring it to you, and not forgetting my son Chad Graham, Stanley Johnson, and no other than Sweet 16, Linton Samuel will be on stage this year. Behind the scenes, we have 2 lovely young ladies, but you have to be at the show to see all of this. Packer Jokers will take you on a ride.
And the Warraku Recreational Park will this Sunday, July 30th, turn into an atmosphere of worship, togetherness, and fun as the Harvest Bible Chapel St. Vincent presents Worship in the Park. Intended to be an avenue for the Christian community to have good, wholesome fun for the entire family, the event, according to Pastor Carlton Charles, is being extended to the overall Vincentian public as they spread the message of hope while bringing persons together.
Event started in 2013, then we had it in 2015. The idea behind Worship in the Park is when you look around in St. Vincent, especially in the Christian community, you find that families don't really have a lot of places to go and to enjoy some good, wholesome fun with their kids. And so we wanted to provide an avenue where people can come, they can worship God, they can have some really great fun with their kids, and we want to see people get saved. And we do that by letting persons know the goodness, the greatness of God. We want persons to be gripped by that. So there's going to be a message that's going to be preached by Pastor Al on hope, stirring up people to realize that even though things are dismal in their lives, that there is hope. And we want other churches to be involved in it. In fact, we have already sent out letters to churches and pastors, and the responses have been very good. In fact, one pastor I spoke to said, hey, our church plan to come and to enjoy ourselves at the event. So we are extending this to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Pastor Charles gave a brief overview of what persons can expect at Sunday's event.
10 a.m. with high impact worship. That's window rattling or chattering, hand clapping, you know, that praise and worship time. Then we get down into the word. Message would be preached, and then we break for lunch, and we're gonna have some activities for the kids. There's gonna be activities also for the more mature folks. There's gonna be dominoes, card games, and some other stuff like that. And then we kick off the evening with a concert which starts at 5 p.m. extended hours by popular request. Also, food will be on sale, well-stocked bar, so persons can come out and have a magnificent time. We're going to have our prayer team. They're going to be on the ground praying for persons as they come into the park.
Noting that persons are definitely in for an uplifting experience, Pastor Charles urged the entire Vincentian public to come out and be a part of the special event.
Right? Worship in the Park is a free event, so we want persons to capitalize on that. Transportation would be free. You guys can get more information on our Facebook page at Harvest Bible Chapel, St. Vincent. You can check that out there as well. And we want you to be part of this event on Sunday, the 30th of July. This event is about you. This event is for you and for your family and for your kids. And hey, you don't have to be a Christian. We are more than happy to have you be a part of this event. We are going to ensure that everybody is taken care of, right? And we just want you to come out and be part of this wonderful experience. Even though Worship in the Park is captioned as an event, we want people to leave with an experience.